When I stand here tonight, I'm not here to simply give you words. I am here to give you a mirror that reflects back the truth that so many of us try to avoid, that life is passing by moment, whether we choose to notice it or not. And the greatest tragedy is not that time is moving too quickly. It's that so many of us are allowing it to slip away, wasted on things that don't matter. I want you to pause for a second and think about this. If today was your last day, would you feel proud of how you've lived? Would you feel that you gave your dreams everything you had? Or would you whisper to yourself, "I wish I had more time"? This is not a speech for those who want to feel comfortable. This is a call to those who want to feel alive. I want you to lean in. I want you to listen with every part of your being, because what I'm about to share with you is not just advice. It's a wake-up call, a reminder that your life, your dreams, your purpose are far too valuable to waste. So stay with me. Don't let your mind wander, because if you give me your attention now, I promise you, by the time I'm done, you will never look at your life the same way again. Time is the one resource every single one of us is given equally, yet it is the one most often squandered. Think about it. Money can be earned back, opportunities can reappear, and even relationships, when lost, can sometimes be rebuilt. But time, once it is gone forever. It is the one currency you cannot replenish, the one treasure you cannot store away, the one gift you cannot negotiate for more of. Every tick of the clock is a piece of your life. Every sunrise and sunset carries away another day that will never return. And most of us live as though we have an unlimited supply. We tell ourselves there will always be more time. More time to pursue that dream, more time to change that habit, more time to mend that relationship, more time to become the person we know we were meant to be. But the harsh reality is that tomorrow is not promised, tomorrow is never guaranteed. And even if it comes with no assurance that you'll have the strength, the health, or the opportunity to do the things you keep pushing off today. There's a quiet danger in waiting. Waiting feels harmless, waiting feels safe. You tell yourself you're being patient, that you're gathering courage, that you're preparing. But waiting is just a disguised form of wasting. You are wasting the irreplaceable hours of your life in exchange for comfort, in exchange for excuses, in exchange for a belief that someday will come. But someday is not a date on the calendar. Someday is a lie we tell ourselves to avoid the truth that we're afraid of acting now. Time doesn't stop because we hesitate. It doesn't pause while we figure things out. It doesn't wait for us to feel ready. It just keeps moving steadily, relentlessly, and one day, if you're not careful, you'll wake up and realize that the time you thought you had has already slipped away. You'll look back on years that could have been filled with bold decisions, with risks, with dreams pursued, and you'll see instead a string of empty days, filled with distractions and meaningless routines. That's the danger, not failure, not rejection, not mistakes, but regret. Regret is the weight of wasted time, and it is heavier than any burden you will ever carry. You can recover from failure. You can learn from rejection. You can rise from mistakes, but you cannot recover from the years you didn't live fully. You cannot get back the moments you never embraced. That is why time is life's most precious currency. It is all you truly own, and it is what you must invest wisely. I want you to think about your daily life for a moment. How much of it is filled with activities that actually move you closer to your dreams? How much of it is consumed by distractions that leave you no further along than you were the day before? Scrolling endlessly, numbing yourself with meaningless entertainment, waiting for someone else to fix things for you, postponing the hard choices that would transform your life. Ask yourself, are these investments worthy of your time, or are they debts stealing it from you? The truth is, You don't waste time because you don't know what to do. Deep down, you already know what matters. You already know the dreams you've pushed to the back of your mind. You already know the habits that are destroying your potential. You already know the people and the environments that drain your energy instead of fueling it. The problem isn't knowledge. The problem is choice. You are choosing comfort over purpose, convenience over growth, excuses over action. And every time you do, time keeps moving, silently recording the cost of those choices. But here is the beauty. Time doesn't only take away, it also gives. Right now, in this very moment, you have the opportunity to begin again, to stop wasting, to start living intentionally. You may not have control over how much time is left for you, but you have complete control over how you use the time that remains. You can choose to treat every day as the gift it truly is, to see every sunrise not as another repetition of routine, but as another chance to build, to create, to grow, to love, to become. It's not about doing everything. It's not about chasing every dream all at once. It's about choosing wisely. It's about aligning your time with your purpose. It's about being honest with yourself and cutting away the things that don't matter so that the things that do can flourish. It's about realizing that your life is not measured by how long you live, but by how well you spend the time you're given. We often admire those who achieve greatness, thinking they had more opportunities, more resources, more connections. But the truth is, the one thing they had that you also have is time, the same 24 hours in a day, the same 7 days in a week, the same relentless clock ticking forward. The difference is, they chose to use it differently. They treated time as the priceless currency it is. They guarded it, they invested it, they refused to waste it, and because of that, they created a life that mattered. So ask yourself, how are you spending yours? Are you spending it building something that will outlast you? Or are you trading it away for temporary comfort that vanishes the moment it's over? Are you creating memories worth holding on to? Or are you letting days blur together in a haze of distraction? Are you living a story worth telling? Or are you letting your story be written by fear, hesitation, and wasted time? The answer is not in the past. It's not in the future. It's here, right now, in this moment. You have the chance to reclaim your time. To decide that from this day forward you will not waste what is most precious. You will not allow fear or doubt to steal the hours meant for your greatness. You will not let comfort deceive you into believing you have forever. You will act, you will choose, you will live. Because at the end of your life, the measure will not be in the things you owned, the titles you held, or the possessions you collected. The measure will be in how you used your time. Did you give it to things that mattered? Did you invest it in people, in dreams, in values that built something lasting? Or did you let it slip away? That is the only question that will matter when the clock finally stops. And the truth is, you already know the answer you want to give. You already feel it deep inside, that pull to do more, to be more, to stop wasting the precious gift you've been given. All that's left is the courage to act on it. So make the decision today. Stop wasting. Start living. Because your time is your life, and nothing is more precious than that. If time is the most precious currency of life, then comfort is the thief that quietly steals it away. Not with force, not with alarm, not with drama, but with soft whispers and subtle ease. Comfort feels good in the moment. It feels safe, it feels familiar, but what most people fail to see is that comfort doesn't come free. It comes at the cost of your growth, your dreams, and your potential. It comes at the cost of the life you were meant to live. Think about how comfort works. It doesn't announce itself as a danger. It doesn't scream at you to stop trying. It simply convinces you to take it easy, to slow down, to avoid the hard things, to settle for less than what you're capable of. It tells you that you don't need to push yourself today, that you can wait until tomorrow. And before you know it, tomorrow turns into weeks, weeks turn into years, and you're left wondering how your life drifted into a place you never intended. That's the power of comfort. It doesn't break you, it seduces you. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every transformation in history has one thing in common. It required someone to step out of their comfort zone. Nothing extraordinary was ever born from staying safe. Nothing worth remembering was ever created by someone who chose convenience over courage. Comfort zones are where dreams go to die, because inside them you never face enough challenge to grow, and without growth you cannot fulfill your potential. There is a reason discomfort feels so hard, growth hurts, change is uncomfortable, pushing beyond what you're used to feels unnatural, even painful. But that discomfort is not your enemy, it is your teacher. It is the proof that you are stretching beyond the limits that once confined you. It is the sign that you are alive, moving forward, becoming more than you were yesterday. When you feel the resistance of discomfort, that's the exact moment when you know you are touching the edges of your potential. Comfort, on the other hand, is deceptive. It disguises itself as happiness. It makes you feel as though you're okay where you are. But deep down, you know the truth. Deep down, you feel that gnawing dissatisfaction, that quiet voice that says, "You were made for more." That voice doesn't go away, no matter how much comfort you surround yourself with, because your soul knows when you are settling, and it will remind you again and again until you listen. What people often forget is that comfort is temporary. It feels good in the moment, but it leaves you empty in the long run. You might feel at ease avoiding risk, but what you gain in safety, you lose in meaning. And at the end of your life, you won't remember the days you spent comfortable. You'll remember the days you stretched yourself. You'll remember the moments you risked, the times you pushed through fear, the days you proved to yourself that you were capable of more than you believed. That's what sticks, that's what lasts. The irony is that most of the things you want in life are waiting for you just outside your comfort zone. Success, fulfillment, impact, growth, they all live in the space where things feel uncertain, where the path isn't easy, where the outcome isn't guaranteed. That's the space most people avoid. But it's also the space where life's greatest rewards are found. So ask yourself honestly, what has comfort cost you so far? What dreams have you delayed because it was easier to stay safe? What opportunities have you passed by because they required too much effort or risk? What version of yourself have you been holding back because stepping forward felt uncomfortable? The truth is, you don't have to let comfort control you. Discomfort is not something to fear, it's something to embrace. Every time you push yourself a little further, every time you step into the unknown, every time you challenge yourself to grow, you expand your capacity. You raise your standards. You prove to yourself that you can handle more than you once thought possible. And that proof changes you. It builds confidence, it builds resilience, it builds strength. It turns you into someone who no longer fears discomfort, but seeks it out, knowing it is the gateway to your next level. Look at the lives of those who have built something extraordinary. None of them got there by choosing what was easy. They woke up early when they wanted to sleep in. They kept going when everything in them wanted to quit. They took risks when failure seemed certain. They leaned into discomfort again and again until it became their new normal. And that is why they became leaders, innovators, change makers. They weren't more talented, they weren't luckier, they were simply willing to sacrifice comfort in exchange for growth. The choice is the same for you. Every day you stand at a crossroads. One path is paved with comfort, the familiar, the easy, the predictable. The other path is filled with discomfort, the uncertain, the challenging, the demanding. One leads you to stagnation. The other leads you to transformation. The question is, which path are you choosing? Because you cannot have both. You cannot cling to comfort and expect growth. You cannot settle for ease and expect excellence. You cannot live in safety and expect greatness. What makes life remarkable is not how comfortable you make it, but how much you dare to push beyond comfort. The moments that shape you are rarely the easy ones. They are the ones where you faced fear and moved forward anyway, where you were tired but chose to keep going, where you felt unprepared but took the leap regardless. Those are the defining moments of life, and they will never come to you if you spend your days chasing comfort. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable to become who you are meant to be. You have to be willing to embrace the pain of discipline, the struggle of persistence, the risk of failure, because on the other side of all of those things is the life you dream about. And once you taste the fulfillment that comes from living beyond your comfort zone, comfort itself will never satisfy you again. The truth is simple. Comfort is the silent killer of potential. It doesn't destroy your dreams overnight. It destroys them slowly, quietly, day by day, while convincing you that you're okay. But you are not meant to just be okay. You are meant to live fully, to grow endlessly, to become the very best version of yourself. And that will never happen as long as you let comfort dictate your choices. So don't let comfort steal your life. Don't let it trick you into thinking safety is success. Don't let it convince you that staying the same is good enough. You were made for more. Step out, take the risk, embrace the discomfort. Because everything you want is waiting for you on the other side. If comfort is the silent killer of potential, then distraction is its closest accomplice. Because even when you begin to step outside of your comfort zone, even when you start to pursue growth and reach for more, the world around you is designed to pull you away from what truly matters. Every day you are surrounded by noise, endless voices demanding your attention, endless screens pulling you in, endless activities promising quick pleasure but leaving you empty. And the danger isn't just that distractions waste your time. It's that they steal your focus from your purpose. Purpose is what gives your life meaning. It is the anchor that holds you steady in the storms of uncertainty. It is the compass that guides you when the path isn't clear. Without purpose, you may be busy, but you won't be fulfilled. You may achieve things, but they won't satisfy you. You may move quickly, but you won't move in the right direction. A life without purpose is like a ship without a destination. You can sail fast, you can ride the waves, but in the end, you'll find yourself drifting aimlessly, wondering why the journey feels so hollow. And yet, most people are living exactly that way, not because they don't have purpose within them, but because they have allowed distractions to bury it. They fill their days with noise, with meaningless tasks, with constant scrolling, with chasing the approval of others, and they confuse busyness with progress. But progress without direction is not success. You can run at full speed and still be going nowhere if you don't know why you're running in the first place. The truth is, distraction has become one of the greatest challenges of our time. We live in a world that thrives on stealing your attention. Companies, apps, media, entertainment, they are all fighting for a piece of your focus, because your focus is valuable. And the more of it you give away to meaningless things, the less of it you have to invest in building a life of purpose. That's how dreams die, not in an explosion, but in a slow erosion. A drip of wasted attention every single day, until one day you realize you have poured yourself into things that never mattered. Purpose, on the other hand, requires focus. It requires discipline. It requires you to guard your attention fiercely and direct it only toward the things that align with the life you were meant to live. Purpose is not found in the noise. It is found in the quiet moments, in reflection, in asking yourself the hard questions. What do I value? What impact do I want to make? What legacy do I want to leave behind? It is found in stripping away the distractions and tuning into the voice within you that already knows the answer. And when you live with purpose, everything changes. You stop measuring your days by how busy you were and start measuring them by how meaningful they were. You stop comparing yourself to others because your focus is on your mission, not their approval. You stop saying yes to everything that comes your way and start saying no to anything that doesn't serve your higher calling. Purpose gives you clarity. It simplifies your life. It allows you to focus your time and energy on what truly matters and release the rest. But let's be honest, living with purpose is not easy because distractions are comfortable. They offer immediate gratification. They let you escape from the hard work of facing your calling. They let you avoid the responsibility of stepping fully into the life you were created to live. That's why so many people choose distraction over purpose. It's easier to spend hours lost in entertainment than to spend hours building something meaningful. It's easier to talk about your dreams than to take the hard steps toward them. It's easier to keep yourself busy with tasks that make you feel productive than to do the deeper work of aligning your life with your purpose. But if you want to live fully, you have to choose differently. You have to recognize distraction for what it is, a thief that steals your focus, your energy, and your potential, and you have to protect your purpose from it at all costs. That means setting boundaries. That means creating space for silence, for focus, for reflection. That means saying no to things that might feel good in the moment, but don't serve you in the long run. That means training your mind to stay fixed on what matters and not wander into the endless temptations around you. And here is the beauty. When you live with purpose, you don't feel like you're missing out by saying no to distractions. You feel empowered because you know that every yes to your purpose is a no to something meaningless. You know that every hour invested in your mission is an hour building a life that matters. You know that every sacrifice of comfort or distraction is a seed planted toward a future of fulfillment. And that fulfillment is worth infinitely more than the empty pleasures of distraction. Think about the people who have changed the world, the people who have left legacies, the people who are remembered long after they're gone. They were not people who allowed themselves to be consumed by distractions. They were people of purpose. They lived with clarity, they guarded their time, they knew what they stood for, and they aligned their lives with it every single day. That is why their lives had impact. That is why their names live on, and the same can be true for you. Your purpose doesn't have to look like anyone else's. It doesn't have to be grand in the eyes of the world, but it does have to be real. It does have to be yours. And it does have to guide the way you live your days. Because the truth is, life is short. Too short to waste on things that don't matter. Too short to pour into distractions that leave you empty. Too short to spend your precious energy living someone else's version of success instead of your own. You have within you the power to live with purpose. You have within you the clarity to know what matters most. You have within you the ability to cut through the noise and focus on what truly counts. But you have to make the choice. No one else can do it for you. No one else can guard your attention. No one else can live your purpose. That responsibility belongs to you. And when you embrace it, when you decide that your purpose matters more than your distractions, You will begin to live a life of depth, of meaning, of fulfillment. You will no longer look back with regret over wasted time, because you will know that you poured yourself into what mattered most. You will no longer feel restless or empty, because you will know that every day was aligned with your calling. You will no longer be pulled endlessly in every direction, because you will know the direction you are meant to go. That is the life worth living, not one consumed by distractions, but one fueled by purpose, not one scattered by noise, but one focused by clarity, not one wasted on meaningless things, but one invested in what will last. So protect your focus, guard your energy, choose your purpose, because the world will always offer distractions, but only you can choose to rise above them. And the day you do, you will discover a life that is not just busy, but deeply alive. If time is the most precious currency, if comfort is the silent killer of potential, and if purpose is the compass that gives direction to your life, then there remains one undeniable truth. None of it matters if you don't take action. Because you can understand the value of time, you can break free from comfort, you can even discover your purpose, but unless you act on it, nothing will change. Dreams without action are nothing more than fantasies. Intentions without execution are broken promises to yourself. And the legacy you leave behind is not written in the things you wished you had done, but in the choices you had the courage to make and the actions you had the discipline to follow through on. We live in a world where people talk endlessly about what they want. They say they want success, they want happiness, they want impact, they want freedom. They speak about their dreams with passion, but their actions tell a different story. They keep waiting, hesitating, postponing, making excuses for why now isn't the right time, why the circumstances aren't perfect, why they aren't ready. But the truth is, there will never be a perfect time. There will never be ideal circumstances. Readiness is not something you wait for, it is something you create through action. Every legacy you admire was built by people who acted long before they felt ready. They risked, they failed, they learned, they adjusted, and they kept moving. They didn't sit around waiting for clarity, they created clarity through movement. They didn't wait for courage, they found courage in the act of stepping forward. They didn't wait for guarantees, they acted on faith that their efforts mattered. And that's the key difference between those who build legacies and those who leave behind nothing but unfulfilled wishes. Wishing is easy, acting is hard. Wishing requires nothing of you, but action demands everything. It demands discipline, consistency, sacrifice, and resilience. It demands that you show up not just when you feel inspired, but when you feel tired, when you feel afraid, when you feel uncertain. It demands that you keep going not just when the path is smooth, but when it is rough, when you stumble, when you fail. Because legacies are not built in moments of ease. They are built in moments of persistence, when no one is watching, when nothing seems to be working, when everything inside you tells you to give up, but you choose to act anyway. Think about the people who will remember you one day. They won't remember what you wished for. They won't remember the things you said you wanted to do. They will remember what you actually did. They will remember how you lived, how you gave, how you built, how you persevered. Your legacy is not in your words, but in your actions. And every day you are writing it, whether you realize it or not. Every choice you make, every habit you keep, every step you take is contributing to the story people will one day tell about you. The question is, what kind of story are you writing? Will it be a story of excuses, of wasted time, of comfort chosen over growth, of potential never realized? Or will it be a story of courage, of persistence, of someone who dared to act, who dared to live fully, who dared to leave behind something greater than themselves? Action is what bridges the gap between who you are and who you want to become. Action is what transforms your potential into reality. Action is what turns your vision into something tangible. And yet, action is what so many people avoid, because it is uncomfortable, because it is uncertain, because it requires risk. But here's the truth: the pain of discipline will always cost less than the pain of regret. The sacrifice of action will always be lighter than the burden of wasted potential. When you look back on your life, you won't regret the risks you took, even if they didn't work out the way you hoped. You won't regret the times you failed, because failure teaches, failure strengthens, failure builds. What you will regret are the chances you never took, the dreams you never pursued, the actions you never dared to take. That is the weight that crushes people at the end of their lives, not failure, but inaction. So if you want to build a legacy, stop waiting. Stop wishing, stop hiding behind comfort and distraction. Start moving, start acting, start building. Even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect, even if you stumble along the way. Because imperfect action will always create more progress than perfect inaction. The path to greatness is not paved with flawless steps. It is paved with consistent steps, no matter how small, no matter how shaky, no matter how uncertain. And here's the secret most people don't realize: action creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates growth. Growth creates impact, and impact creates legacy. It all begins with the first step, with the courage to do something, anything, that aligns with your purpose and pulls you closer to the life you were meant to live. Legacy is not something you wait until the end of your life to think about. It's something you are building right now. In how you spend your time, in how you treat others, in how you pursue your dreams, in how you rise after you fall. Every day is a chance to add a brick to the foundation of the legacy you will one day leave behind. The only question is whether you are building something strong, something lasting, something worthy, or whether you are leaving behind nothing at all. And the beauty is, you don't need to do something the world calls extraordinary to leave a powerful legacy. You don't need to be famous. You don't need to be celebrated. What matters is that you act with purpose, that you live with courage, that you give the best of yourself to the people and the dreams that matter most. That is what will live on, not the size of your accomplishments, but the authenticity of your actions. So let this be your reminder: the time is now. The world doesn't need more wishes. It doesn't need more talk. It doesn't need more people waiting for the perfect moment. The world needs people who act, people who show up, people who build, people who live their purpose every single day, and in doing so, inspire others to do the same. That is how you create a legacy. That is how you ensure your life is not wasted. Because at the end of it all, when your time is up, no one will care about the things you wanted to do but never did. They will care about the life you lived, the choices you made, the actions you took. And those actions will echo long after you are gone. So do not waste your life wishing for more. Build it, live it, act on it, because your legacy will not be written in your intentions. It will be written in your actions.